So here's the question of the day. You can read the title, you saw the thumbnail. Is Commander Phillip Graves really dead? Now you may be wondering why we are asking this question all together, because if you've played the campaign, you've seen this scene.
Because they ain't. Ellos no le guste usted. Cuando ese es cumplido.
You did it, so? You and me, hermano. Brought a gun to a tank fight. Yeah, we did. Soap the ghost, and we're ready. Graves is KIA. How's Price?
Angry. Lost a good cigar in the crash. Pilot's okay too. Out.
Alejandro, la base está asegurada. Graves está muerto. Vamos en camino.
However, if we take a closer look at this scene, it leads to many questions about what really happened to Graves. But to take all of this into perspective, we first have to look at why I am talking about this whatsoever. You see, I talk about Call of Duty's story a lot, and the one thing that I always say is if you don't see a character die, they are probably not dead. The biggest and most recent example of this was with Modern Warfare 2019. At the end of the campaign, they make it a really big deal that Alex is staying behind to blow up the gas facility. At the very end, when they pull the trigger, we assume that Alex is inside, building goes boom, and Alex is dead. But as we find out in a later season, that is not the case. Alex makes his return with his prosthetic leg, and he is all hunky-dory. Definitely not dead. In other words, if you didn't see the character die, they are probably not dead. Now, Call of Duty has used this model and this mindset for a very long time. Some things that come to mind are way back in the day, the story of Viktor Reznov, the discussion on whether or not he was dead or just in Alex Mason's head was a main motif within Black Ops 1. Similarly, this could go all the way back to Pripyat in Call of Duty 4, when you shoot Imran Zakhaev but only end up shooting off his arm. You don't see him die, so once again, he is probably not dead. A very similar thing in many different Call of Duty games. You could probably list even more of these down in the comments. So when we come back to Phillip Graves' quote-unquote death scene, there's a lot of questions here. First of all, in this battle, you are fighting Phillip Graves and he is said to be inside this tank. During the battle, you can hear him talking a lot of smack from inside the tank towards you.
You'll hang for this.
Knock that honor shit off, Johnny. I'll be sipping tequila, forgetting where I buried your ass. Can you say the same? Hey, Rodolfo. Don't go thinking uno, cuatro, uno, two amigos, hermano, because they ain't.
Now, it is kind of weird that you can hear him talking through the radio, but you can't hear an echo of any of the gunshots or explosions going on in the battle. But we can put that aside, and maybe they didn't think that in depth with it, even though sound design was one of the main focuses of the game. However, what's even weirder is after all of this, once that you explode the tank, you never actually check for a body. You don't see Phillip Graves dead. In fact, you would think that they would go inside to make sure there maybe would be some sort of cutscene where Graves says his goodbyes or something along those lines, maybe make some snarky comment about working for money or something along those lines. Phillip Graves became one of the main bad guys throughout the game after he betrayed Task Force 141, and to see him just kind of disappear with no last words is a very strange goodbye, hence why I'm asking this question. And also, we just never see him die. So essentially there are two options here. Either Graves was in the tank or Graves was not in the tank. Now the reason why I say that is because I did some research on when a tank explodes, how likely is it for someone to survive? And the easy answer for that is, well, it just doesn't happen. The tank stores a bunch of munitions, and when the tank goes boom, everything inside it goes boom. So if Graves was in there, Graves is most certainly dead. So then this leaves us with the question as to why would Graves not be in the tank? And the one thing that I mentioned earlier is when we heard Graves talking on the radio, we didn't hear any explosions, gunfire, or anything like that, like you would expect if there was a battle going around where the tank was, where Graves was talking. Small detail, may have been overlooked, not a huge deal whatsoever. The other one is simply they did not show Graves dead. They all of a sudden he wasn't speaking, and then they said we KIA'd Graves, and that was basically that. all in all, there wasn't a lot of evidence to support Graves actually still living. Even at the very end of the campaign, when we hear Captain Price bring up General Shepard and Shadow Company, this is what Laswell has to say.
CIA shit.
Creative writing.
I'll never tell.
AQ. Iran.
Cartels, Russians.
Shepard. Shadow. They got past us.
We had a head start. It's cutting the heads off snakes. Any son of Shepard?
Totally off the grid.
No, we'll find him.
No, we've got bigger fish.
So this was going to be one of the mysteries that I personally left alone. That was until Ashika Island was announced this week. When they gave us the backstory behind Ashika Island, essentially the Ultranationalists are working on here alongside Shadow Company, who's fighting against the Coney Ultranationalists. But in the description, this is what they gave. Recently intercepted communications suggest that elements of Shadow Company under the leadership of Redacted have taken control of the Isle. So, this could mean essentially two things. Either they are under the leadership of Commander Phillip Graves, who is still alive, or they are under the leadership of General Shepard. Both options work for the story and how it could push forward, but it would make a lot more sense to be Commander Graves, simply because he was the one leading Shadow Company throughout the campaign. Now here's my thing with the death of Phillip Graves. He was essentially the main bad guy within the game. Yes, General Hassan was in there, you fought him, you killed him by the very end. However, he didn't betray you. There wasn't much backstory or effort put into building his character at all. Whereas Graves, we learned who he was, we learned he was working with General Shepard, we learned his motivation, mainly being money, we learned where his allegiances are, and we learned that he was a jerk. By the end of the game, you would expect that main bad guy, main antagonist, to have some sort of death scene like they do in all Call of Duties, whether that's in the original Modern Warfare 2, General Shepard taking a throwing knife to the eye, or something else altogether. The main bad guy you generally see die, or you kill him. In this game, that did not happen. The tank went boom, and then all of a sudden everyone just accepted the fact of, oh, yep, Graves was in there, he's dead, no need to worry about Shadow Company. But here we are with Ashika Island, Shadow Company is returning, and the original leader of it, like we saw in the campaign, Phillip Graves, being either dead or in the wind. I personally think that Phillip Graves is not dead. They didn't give him a good enough death scene, at least in my opinion. And because of that, I'm guessing that either the tank was controlled by someone else and we were hearing Commander Phillip Graves over the radio, or it was remotely controlled and he was talking to us, talking smack, trying to get us fired up. But my guess is he's not dead. My guess is he's going to be making a return, and we'll probably be seeing it on Ashika Island, where Shadow Company is returning once again. But hey, I could be completely wrong. That is just my opinion. If you have any theories, ideas, I missed anything, let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed the video and want to see more like this one, the best way to show me is by hitting that like button. And if you like my videos and want to see more, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications on. But that's my thoughts on the death of Phillip Graves. Let me know what you think. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making it.